Sony family, what are we going to do? I don't know if you saw any of the news today, but oh my lord. A Sony fanboy has thoughts about switching now. We got to talk about it. What's up, y'all? Tight Shirt Terry Warfield. Hope you're having a good day so far. Let's hop right into the meat and potatoes. Yo, the Canon EOS R5C has me intrigued. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole spec sheet, but I think there are some notable things I want to mention real quick, and then we're going to talk about why I'm even entertaining this thought of possibly switching, right? Number one, full frame bomb photo camera, because it basically borrows the EOS R5, which was a bomb photo camera. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. However, full frame 8K 60 up to raw internally 12-bit up to. That means everything below that is possible. Do you understand that? On top of that, 45 megapixels, class leading autofocus, all of the supports that it takes to be a video camera, which we're going to talk about that in a second also, at a very respectable, uncompromised price point of $4,500. I say uncompromised because this is what Canon typically does. They come out with new cameras, right? They say, oh, it's going to have this, it's going to have that. And then we find out they put the cripple hammer on that bad boy. And this looks great on paper. And from the initial review that I watched from CVP, I will link that video below. This is Canon's first hybrid camera that does not come with freaking compromises. Now, I have made it no secret on this channel that I love Sony products. I have 5 Sony freaking cameras. I'm filming on a Sony a7S III right now. So one could say that I am invested in this ecosystem. This channel has been built pretty much around Sony products, photography tips, video tips, Sony gear pretty much, right? But I've also made it a point to let y'all know time and time again, I ain't paid by Sony. And if the right camera come along that checks all the boxes that I need at a respectable price point, I will switch in a heartbeat. And this is that camera that has me thinking about switching. A Sony fanboy is thinking about switching. And I'm going to be honest, am I actually going to switch to the EOS R5C? No, I'm not. But I'm going to explain that later on in this video. I want to bring attention to all of the features that this camera has when it comes to video support, and I'm going to bring this back around full circle, right? So this camera has stuff like shutter angle built into it. This camera has stuff like anamorphic options built into it. This camera has the ability to like load your own LUTs, and the list goes on. The things that a proper video camera has, a proper entry-level cinema camera has. Now, I want to bring up that Sony a7S III and the Sony FX3. Both are bomb cameras, and although $1,000 cheaper, my biggest issue with the Sony a7S III, and I made this no secret in my long-term review, which I'll link that right up there. If Sony is calling the a7S III and the FX3, especially the FX3, entry-level cinema, I don't care how good the video quality is and that it's full frame, 10-bit, all of that stuff, 16-bit RAW or HDMI, that's all fine and dandy. But when it comes to video support tools we need, such as shutter angles, such as being able to customize what waveforms we do or do not want on the screen, such as false colors, such as this, such as that, these are all software-related things that, in my opinion, Sony really screwed us on. And I'm sorry, Sony, I love y'all, but I call a spade a spade. There is no freaking reason why the FX3 and the a7S III should not have these things. Even the Panasonic S5 and GH5. The GH5 is over 4 years old. It has all these basic rudimentary things that a video camera, a proper video camera, a entry-level cinema video-focused camera should have. And Sony does not offered that, and that is really disappointing, because for $1,000 more you can literally get all of that full frame, 45 megapixels, tons of dynamic range, all of the supports that you want, this the monitoring tools and all of that stuff, all these resolutions, all of these codecs, up to 8K 60 raw. Some of you may argue, oh, we don't need 8K. That's fair, but the fact that it has that and all of this for $4,500, Sony, I know y'all have to be at the table right now looking around like, what on earth are we gonna do? Now, that's not to discredit Sony. I love Sony cameras, and again, I won't be switching, and here are my reasons why I won't be switching. Because ecosystem, Canon has it on lock when it comes to like menus, user experience. I like to equate Canon to like being an iPhone of the camera world. Sony is kind of like the Android of the camera world. And Androids are fantastic nowadays. It's not to diss Sony, but you get a ton of features, you get a ton of stuff like that, but they're not the most refined like it is when it comes to Canon. But Sony absolutely has its benefits. Ecosystem is a big one. Number one, E-mount. We seem to forget that E-mount is literally one of the best things out there since sliced bread. There are literally over 100 lenses, counting in Sony's official line. That's 70 plus lenses by itself, plus all the third-party support. I can pick a lens for freaking everything. On top of that, I can go from camera to camera to camera to camera and use the same lenses, and that to me is a huge selling point. Also, even though Sony cameras are missing things like monitoring tools and stuff like that, we still get things like catalyst browse built into it. We still get things like in-body stabilization, which the R5C doesn't have. We still get all of that great stuff. I just feel like Sony, when it comes to like the video part, they are screwing the pooch, right? Now, I want to talk about price. I want to talk about price because the Sony Alpha 1 is Sony's flagship camera. That camera clocks in at over $6,000. Over $6,000. And although it is Sony's best photography camera, it's the fastest one out there and all that good stuff, the R5 was almost as good as the Alpha 1. I'm not as good, but it was almost as good as the Alpha 1. So for Canon to come with a $4,500 camera where the photo side is almost as good as the Alpha 1, the video side is blowing the Alpha 1 out the water, although the Alpha 1 is good, don't get me wrong, but comparatively speaking to a camera that's $4,500, it got outbeat from a pure feature perspective. This is going to force a lot of things. This is going to make camera manufacturers number one step their game up. Again, this is camera's no compromise camera. The R5 had compromises. It had overheating, it had record limits, it had all that stuff. This camera comes with no compromises. This is gonna force other manufacturers around this price point to do a few things. Number one, either you better start loading up your cameras, Sony, with all of these features to make them competitive if you want to charge 6 racks for a camera, or you got to bring them prices down. Also, this is really going to put the pressure on innovation, which is good for us, the end consumer, because Canon is coming out with all of this stuff. Now, everybody's sitting at the round table, well, hell, we got to top this. We got to bring some heat to be able to compete with this. And I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm a Sony fanboy. I love Sony. I won't be switching, but you got to realize greatness when it's in front of you. People love to hate on LeBron all the time. Oh, he's this, oh, he's that. But one thing you can't argue is LeBron is one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball. The EOS R5C probably is not a perfect camera, but you cannot argue with what Canon did with this camera and the amount of features that it brings to the table at a price point of $4,500. There is a new king on the throne when it comes to mirrorless cameras. I'm gonna be honest. This is it. It might not be perfect. It might not be able to beat out the Alpha 1 in every single way, but as a whole, for the money, you saving $1,500 and you getting a arguably more complete freaking camera. And that's scary. I'm definitely gonna be getting one to test, that's for sure. I'm gonna be testing one on this channel, and I'm saying I'm not gonna switch right now, but you know, anything is possible, but I don't think I will be, but I gotta test it out to see like what it's really all about in hand and in practical use, etc. It will cost a bag to switch to this camera, by the way, because then I have to invest in lenses, and we know that RF glass is just freaking ridiculous, and I ain't got time to be using adapters and all of that just to get lenses to work. I ain't got time for that. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm gonna be down there kicking it with y'all, legs up, hands across my chest, with a cup of coffee, literally conversing back and forth, because I really want to know what my Sony fam thinks about this camera and if you are even contemplating on switching. So I guess I'm done rambling and ranting and talking crap. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm a camera fanboy. I love cameras, period. I love photography, film, and I don't care what the tool is. I love it, but I'm curious to know y'all thoughts. So till next time, I'm out of here. Peace and chicken grease. Terry Warfield. Peace.